Cameron and I are part of Arbitrary Hero, and we are helping raise money with Extra Life for the second year this year. So we're really grateful to have you get in contact with us, and we just wanted to hear a little bit about your role with Extra Life and Cincinnati Childrens.
Sure. So my name is Jessica, and I am a donor relations coordinator at Cincinnati Childrens. I specifically work with our Children's Miracle Network programs and partners. So one of them being Extra Life. I also work with some of our corporate partners like Ace Hardware, Marriott, Remax,
Oh, nice.
and I also work with collegiate dance marathon programs. So those are my main programs and partners that I manage. Um, with Extra Life specifically, it's been really fun just building the program over the past few years. I've actually only been with the hospital since 2017.
Okay.
So almost as long as you guys have been playing for Extra Life. But yeah, it's been amazing just, working with the program, getting more people into it year after year, just watching it grow. It's been really fun. And I mean, it's just such a great community of gamers out there in Cincinnati. So
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorite, if not my favorite part of my job.
Oh, we're glad to hear that. Yeah, it's for us. I mean, it's such a I think word of mouth thing. Like you hear a friend that's live streaming, and then you
Mm-hmm.
ask them why they're doing it. And they say, "Oh, I'm raising money to help sick kids." And I'm like, "Oh, that seems better than just playing video games on the couch for no reason."
Yeah, absolutely.
So, with I guess with your role at Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and like you mentioned, you work with corporate sponsors and all sorts of um, uh,
Partners.
different partners. Um, for I guess Extra Life specifically, what I know a lot of it is ground support. Like we come up with our own idea to fundraise on our own. But
Mm-hmm.
is Cincy Children's doing any larger events? I mean, like it's COVID-19 this year, so it's hard to do larger events. How is there anything you guys are planning on doing on a larger scale?
So a lot of, you mean specifically with Extra Life or just in general?
I guess both. I'm
Both.
interested in
Yeah.
hearing both.
So I know that in August, they always, on a national level, Extra Life always has Tabletop Appreciation Weekend, which is kind of, the build up to the big game day. Interested to see how that is going to go virtual. I'm assuming that we will do something virtually for that. Maybe it's a virtual version of a tabletop game or something like that. Um, Really, it's this whole situation with COVID has forced us to push a lot of our events virtually. So we're learning a lot about that medium and what that means for fundraising. In the past, we've done conventions and things like that as far as outside Extra Life stuff. Um, so yeah, I mean, we had in May a virtual guild meeting where we played Jackbox, and that was pretty cool. We had a few people attend. Would
Nice.
love to do something sort of similar for Tabletop Appreciation Weekend. Maybe just get some people on a Google Hangouts call or a Zoom call and just play a game together. Um, I think right now it's so important to just keep the community together and keep Extra Life in people's minds as a way to support the community, even specifically related to COVID. So fingers crossed that that kind of stuff works out.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
knock
all
on
new
wood.
to us.
Yeah.
The virtual tabletop session sounds like an awesome idea. I know me personally, we've got two other team members that aren't on the call, but Nate, Tom, and I. So there's Gen Con every year in Indianapolis, and
Mm-hmm.
this year they're doing that online. So we signed up, and we're going to be checking out one of the tabletop sessions, a role playing game that will be live streaming just because it's going to be on the computer anyway. So yeah, that sounds like a
Very
great
cool.
adaptation. And
Mm-hmm.
you mentioned Cincinnati Children's Hospital. You guys have gone and done fundraising at conventions and stuff in Cincinnati before. I guess could you speak about kind of in the you mentioned you've been here since 2017. In the past couple years, what sort of events have you guys gone to traditionally?
So we've done Sin City Con, which is traditionally at the Sharonville Convention Center,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's just all tabletop. We usually have a table set up there. We've done raffles and giveaways, and that's more informational. We're just trying to spread awareness, get people to sign up and
Mm.
learn a little bit more about what we do. Last year, we got the opportunity to do Pivot, which was an esports event at Kings Island. And
Oh
that
cool.
was really big. That was probably the biggest event that we've done. We had a great booth set up. We talked to a lot of people, ran out of all of our brochures and flyers, which is pretty impressive because we had a lot. Mostly what we do when we're tabling is, I mean, we do encourage people, hey, if you want to drop by and fundraise, that's cool, but it's mostly just spreading awareness and educating people. And it's always worked out really well for us. We always get a ton of signups, ton of new interest from events like that. So hope to continue that in the future when events like that are happening again.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. So I guess in regards to the other means of fundraising with the conventions and whatnot, where with the money that you raise for Extra Life with Cincinnati Children's, it's been a week. I guess what percentage of money goes where in the hospital?
Sure. So I did a little breakdown here.
Great.
So they do break this down for us really nicely every year, which we appreciate because it makes it so easy to share.
Yeah.
So Cincinnati Children's is a huge research hospital. That's finding new cures for diseases, that's creating new vaccines, that's coming up with new treatments to help kids live longer and better lives. A huge chunk of Extra Life fundraising and CMN fundraising in general goes towards research. So I would say that's about 45% of where funds go is towards research because it's just so important to us, and it's what our hospital was founded on is improving the lives of kids, and that's such a huge way to do it. After that is our charitable care fund is 35% of those funds. So that's families who can't necessarily afford care. Every year our hospital pays out over $250,000 in charitable care, and we never turn down a family if they can't afford care. So that's something that is super important and super awesome that Extra Life helps support in a big way. Particularly right now with the COVID situation, it's in greater need than ever. We have so many families out of work that, obviously still need to afford their children's care. So that's something that we've seen a huge increase in over the past few months. So that's something that Extra Life gets to support, which I think is really cool. I mean, it's very, very timely and very, very important.
Yeah, that's for each of our individual Extra Life pages for the team, I think we all have been personally affected by Cincy Children's. And that's one of the things that made us want to support not just the Children's Miracle Network, but Cincy Children's in particular. And I think we'll have a link in the video description to the breakout page that you talk about, because I think it's available online also in one form or another. And that's when we were kind of doing our research to what we want to do for charitable giving. That's what impressed me was that, almost half the money goes to research, but then more than a third of the money goes to just helping families that do struggle with the cost of care, which I think, unfortunately, in the States right now, that is something that way more families are facing than we'd like.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Ideally, we'd like zero families to face, but yeah. And then, so we mentioned the Children's Miracle Network a couple times, and Cincinnati is a Children's Miracle Network hospital. Can you talk to people about what exactly that means to be part of that network, and then what that means for Cincy Children's in particular?
Sure. So there are 170 member hospitals of the Children's Miracle Network across the U.S. and Canada. Basically, that means that the Children's Miracle Network is those hospitals' charity of choice in their community. Basically, they support the hospital 100%. There are some nonprofits where that's not the case, but Children's Miracle Network, any money that's donated through partners or programs, 100% comes back to the hospital. So that's something that's really unique and special about the Children's Miracle Network, and why it's such a great way to support your local hospital all over the country and in Canada. So really cool to be a hospital that is part of that organization with such national renown and that does such great things.
Yeah, and speaking national renown, I know that was another thing we found out in our research about Cincy Children's is, what is it, U.S. News and World or something, that you're ranked third nationally.
Third in the nation,
number 3.
Yeah. Which, and it's not just this year.
Amazing.
I mean, it's year after year. We're top 10, and when I go outside of Cincinnati, that tends to be, because I travel with, I mean, not right now, I don't travel with work, but I used to travel with work in the world before. And one of the things that is known about our city is our hospital.
Yeah.
That's true. There's just so much specialized care that people come from all over the country here to be treated for. And that's something that's just so rewarding and so cool about working for this hospital too, is like you said, like the national renown, and people are just like, oh yeah, Cincinnati Children's, like I have a relative that was treated there, like from all over the country. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and then kind of leading off what you said about people from all over come to be treated here. I guess we have to deal with COVID-19. Could you speak to kind of how, with the amount of different people from everywhere that need treatment, what Cincinnati Children's has to do to kind of deal with safety precautions in that regard?
Yeah, so as you can imagine, it's been crazy. We have a lot of safety protocol in place right now. As far as anyone that enters the hospital, you're getting temperature checked, you're getting masked, you're going through a questionnaire. I mean, it's very, very secure. We've seen that with these people coming from out of town to be treated, an increased need in housing, obviously. The local Ronald McDonald House right now is currently not accepting new families, which, I understandable, but that's again where that charitable care fund really comes in and helps out. But yeah, I mean, it's a scary time, as you can imagine, for these kids that are already really vulnerable. So we do everything that we can to just ensure their safety and ensure that everything is, CDC guidelines all over the place, up and down.
Yeah, and that's where people's donations to Extra Life can come in handy, because there's, I mean, hospitals around the nation planned a budget for the year, and then now there's increased cost of sanitation, additional safety precautions.
Yep, absolutely.
People do shifts. There's just you can't stop helping people, obviously, but now it's even more expensive than it was before.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Well, that was a really heavy answer. So I was gonna move on to something a little lighter, and that is, with being in Cincinnati, with your role with Extra Life and Cincinnati Children's, what is your favorite, I guess, or maybe top three, if you can't pick one, top three favorite things about where you work and what you do?
Ooh, there's a lot. So one of my favorite things about my job is that we often get to work with our Grateful Patient program. So that's families that were treated at the hospital that now sort of volunteer as spokespeople for the hospital. And those families are just amazing. And it's so cool to be able to meet these families that are directly impacted by the work that we're doing. So that's, most of the time when I get really teary-eyed at my job, it's like, hanging out with these families, like they're just, so grateful for the care that they experience at the hospital, and they just want to give back. And I think that's really amazing. Something specific with Extra Life has just been seeing the way that the gaming community in Cincinnati has really rallied around this cause. Has been really amazing to me, and just, giving gamers an outlet to help their community and help local kids. And they get so excited about it at these events that we go to. Like, wow, I didn't know this was a thing. I've always wanted to do something for charity, and I didn't even know this existed. So getting to share that with them and getting to bring them into the fold has been really cool. Kind of the same with the corporate partners that I work with. It's all these different businesses like Ace Hardware. I mean, everyone has a personal story almost. Like, if it's not their family that was affected by the hospital, it's their neighbor's family, or it's their, relatives' neighbor's family. I mean, there's this whole network in Cincinnati of people who have been affected by the hospital. And when they find out that I work at Cincinnati Children's, it's really cool to be like, yeah, like I'm, directly, working with something that's really important to you. Like, it's really cool across the board. So those are my big three, I think.
I like it. Very cool. Do you have a favorite? I'm going to the lighter questions now. Do you have a favorite, I guess, video game, tabletop game, board game?
Yes, to all of those. So I just got the new Paper Mario game yesterday.
Oh,
and played it for about 6 hours. I love it. It's been a lot of fun. Favorite video game of all time? That's a tough question, though.
There's a great sense of humor and fun about the Paper Mario series.
Yes.
When I was little, I
It's
played
so
the first one. Yeah, those are great.
Favorite tabletop game? I really do like playing D&D. I just got into it this past year. That's
Nice.
been really fun. Favorite board games? I really like Dominion.
That's
Seven
one Gwen's never
Wonders.
played. I've tried to get her to play that one a couple times. We gotta do that one at some point.
Okay.
We discovered that Dominion has a great online game. Like it's Dominion.games, I think, and it's super great for quarantine if you're like looking to get some people together for Dominion.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll keep an eye out for that. Yeah, I'll have to go look at that because that's awesome. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like bringing people over to play the actual card games a little tough, but
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Definitely one of the things I miss is game nights.
Yeah, Cameron and I have been trying to keep busy. We finished all of the cases, but we were playing the Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective
Board game.
Ooh,
board game,
cool.
which we were really enjoying. But now all
Very
the
cool.
cases are solved, so we have to order the next batch.
Nice, that's awesome.
And then I guess my final question, unless you have anything else. Nope. All right. So my final question and most important question, with you recently being in Cincinnati, you might be aware of our popular local ice cream shop called Grater's, which is my
Of course.
all-time favorite. So moment of truth, what is your favorite Grater's flavor?
Okay, I feel like this might be a kind of a basic answer, but I love the black raspberry chip.
Okay.
I know that's a very popular favorite, but it's just like
It's
never
popular
really-
for a reason.
Yeah, it's the
It's
yeah,
best,
it's for
right?
a reason.
Yeah.
So good.
Never quite had an ice cream that good ever. It's so good. There's like enormous chocolate boulders in there.
Yeah.
So good.
I was super depressed in, when was it, March or April, because for like 2 months Graders was doing the Ohio State and UC flavors, and the UC
Oh, yeah.
Cat flavor was awesome.
Yeah, it was
And then
really
it was
good.
just gone.
Yeah.
And now
And we can't find it
yeah.
anymore.
I still get the craving later.
That's sad. Hopefully it reappears.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks, Jessica, so much for your time. And if so, we'll have links in the video description for anyone who wants to check out Extra Life. We're raising money, but like you mentioned, anyone can set up and help the hospital out by raising money. I guess, is there any parting thoughts you want to have for everyone, or anywhere they should go to get more information about Cincinnati Childrens and how to help out by doing Extra Life, or the tabletop activities that we're hoping, knock on wood, happen in the future?
Yeah, so if you want to check out our Facebook group, that's probably the best place to go for updates. I post on there pretty often. It's facebook.com/groups/Extra Life Cincinnati OH.
Okay.
Not a very catchy URL, but if you just go to Facebook and look up Extra Life Cincinnati, you'll find us, and that's definitely the best place to stay updated.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll have to do that. That'd be great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Thanks, guys.
All right. Bye.